I never knew what I was really capable of until I was an AVID, and I realized that every year I would just do more and more, and every day just accomplish way more than I thought I could the day before.
What AVID does is it takes those middle students and those lower students and it pushes them up to the best.
The most important thing about AVID, I think, it's ability to provide a very supporting structure for students who have an interest in going to college but on their own would have a much, much tougher time of doing it.
I never felt like I was by myself because I had my AVID teachers, I had my AVID tutors, and then of course I had my AVID classmates who I shared a special bond with that I didn't share with other kids.
AVID is a program that will help those students or those kids in our society who do not have a history of higher education.
Most of the stuff I learned in AVID, I had already learned from my dad, from his experience. He passed it on to me. And again, that's part of the ripple effect of AVID.
AVID is really important to me because I am who I am because of AVID.
25 years ago, as today, we had a problem in our schools that is euphemistically called the achievement gap. That is, the students who are most successful in our public school system come from educated families, but students who might not speak English, whose parents haven't gone to college, whose parents really don't know how to support them academically at home, have a very difficult time in many of our schools.
I didn't speak in English when I came to San Diego. I had a vocabulary of about 6 words, and I didn't know how to use them. So it was a rough time for me.
I was speaking Somali and I was speaking Swahili and they wouldn't understand. Sometimes students would come and take my pencils because they had asked, "Can I borrow your pencil?" And I said, and they took that as a yes, like we're going to share, and I would jump on them just to kill them. It was nothing like I wanted to hurt them, I wanted to kill them. That's what you do in the jungle. So very much thinking like an animal and didn't know how to think like a human being.
Many people really believed that if you came to this country not speaking English, you weren't going to make it. Depending on how you dressed, how you spoke, how you looked, people made judgments within our school systems, and we have ended up in many schools with the have and have-nots. That's a good way to destroy a democracy very quickly when only certain groups of people can succeed.
I came from a society that had very low expectations for me. I was expected to get pregnant at an early age. I was expected to drop out of school. Even more so in my community, I was expected to probably join a gang. So it was expected that at some point something would drag me down. And I might have even expected that a little bit for myself.
What AVID has proved over 25 years is if we approach this well within our school systems, then these students will succeed. And I think that's broken many stereotypes.
We were all an AVID kind of, what I call a throwaway kid in our own way. We each had our own stories, we each had our own difficulties, but we all had that motivation to succeed and we knew where we were going with the direction that AVID supported us with. We knew where we were going, so we each helped each other. We had our own goals. Some might have wanted to be a doctor, some might have just wanted to graduate high school or graduate college, but we definitely wanted to succeed.
The interesting thing that we found out was that when students have a reason to learn the basic skills in order to do well in a class, they'll work very hard to learn them, and in fact they learn them rather quickly, and that was a pleasant surprise.
I know that my other teachers, my first counselor, gave me these very easy classes because she didn't think I wanted or needed harder classes. She assumed I wasn't going to go to college, like many other people like me, who came from Southeast San Diego in the bus, who were of Hispanic background. She assumed we were not interested in going to college. And Mary Catherine did not assume that.
If she had given me that look, oh, oh, you're from Somalia. Oh, you didn't go to school. Oh, then I would have gotten discouraged, which I did. And most teachers in their classrooms, they kind of pitied me and they're like, oh, you're a great person. That's wonderful. But that's not what I was up for. I wanted to learn, and I didn't consider myself a great person. I'm like, I'm in a desperate situation. Can you educate me?
On a more personal level for the students themselves, it was helping them change beliefs about themselves. They never saw themselves in an academic setting before. They didn't have images of what it might be like to go to college. They had no basis on which to be able to picture themselves in a setting that we were trying to create for them. And to help them have those images and then let them see that they actually fit those images was a real challenge.
It was hard trying to explain to my family why college was such a big deal to me. I'm the first in my family to attend college. Not that they discouraged me from going to college, but they just couldn't understand why this little black girl from the hood wanted to go to college so bad.
Many of our students live in situations that aren't safe. School is actually a safer setting for them than their own community and their homes are.
Well, let's just say drugs, alcohol, and domestic violence was my daily reality.
In 1993, the Civil War happened, so my mom came to the jungle to get me. But by that time, I had gotten malaria, and my grandmother had moved on, dug my grave, and I was just lying unconscious. She put me near the grave so that hopefully the wind or something will roll me in. And just lying there and kind of saying my goodbye without really saying it because I couldn't speak, and just watching her walk away. And I laid there for I don't know how many days until my mom walked up to me and we went to Somalia to get me some help, Mogadishu, the capital.
Once we show these students how to be academically successful, they simply fly. In the process of doing that, they not only change their lives, but they change the lives of their entire families and communities.
Well, there's been a very dramatic change in our family. If you think back to my mother's family, where she was one of 13 and none of them went to college. Now the next generation in my family, all 8 of us have gone to college.
A motto that we have in many of our AVID classrooms is all learning depends on respecting the dignity of the learner. Just imagine how different our whole society would be if we always treated everyone else with dignity. That means that if I honor you for who you are as a human being, things become possible for you in my eyes. And when a teacher does that, it totally changes a student's life.
Well, my senior year of college was, I would say, the most troubling for me, financially, emotionally, mentally, and physically, because I actually had an accident that year. And periodically, I sent emails to both Mary Catherine and Ron Ottinger informing them on my progress. And I sent them an email and I told them, this is way too much for me and I don't have the money, I can't continue. And they said, Precious, how much do you need to continue out? And I told them, and within days, a check had arrived at the university. It was unbelievable because I didn't feel like I was begging or that I was receiving a handout. It was just simply a child in need. And then, of course, I got back here to San Diego and I thought, I need to figure out how I'm going to pay them back. And she said to me, don't worry about that. We have some people that we might want you to talk to every once in a while and continue representing AVID the way you have, and that's payback enough for me. And I made it through my senior year. I graduated cum laude of my class, and now I'm back home ready to give back to our community the way AVID gave to me.
I look back now on my students, some of whom now graduated 21 years ago, and what they're doing today, and I could have never, ever imagined.
Me and my 4 younger brothers who went through the AVID program all graduated from 4-year universities in in various careers. I am a graphic designer.
I expected myself to become an engineer and draw up the plans that my dad used to build the buildings. And it was very real for me that that's what was going to happen, and eventually it did.
I am very excited about biomedical school. Yes, I know it's going to be a long, hard road, and I'll probably be in school till I'm like 30, but if you think about it, we're all going to reach the age of 30, and the difference is how successful we're going to be.
Right now, I am at UC Berkeley. It's my 4th year. I'm graduating in May with a major in legal studies and a minor in Afro-American studies. I want to go to Johns Hopkins or Howard. And after that, I want to be a doctor. Definitely spent a lot more time giving back.
When I first got accepted, I was just happy to get accepted, but then it occurred to me, oh, this is MIT, this is one of the toughest schools to get into, one of the toughest ones to stay in.
Hopefully I'll have my teaching credential soon. I do plan to get my law degree, and from there the sky is the limit for me.
We didn't understand that we were going to be changing the course of history. We simply were a group of students and a teacher who wanted to do the very best we could do. And so it's very exciting 25 years down the road to see that indeed we have changed the course of history.
It started with one English teacher who had a dream, and she's directly affected the lives of thousands of kids, but she's indirectly changed the entire world.
Reach for